These highlights are proudly brought to you by Campolina, thoroughbred racing and breeding, and Landserv, delivering sustainable environmental solutions. Bright in Victoria. It's simply magnificent. It's picturesque, it's adaptable, and it's loved by sports lovers and enthusiasts the world over. It sits at the base of some of the country's best snowfields and hosts a range of events from paragliding and hot rod shows to my favourite, the Champion Systems Tour of Bright for 2012. Stage 1 of the three-stage event saw the A-grade women roll off at 7:25 on the Saturday morning, with the A-grade men following 40 minutes later. With the region known for its mountains, the whole point of the annual two-day event is climbing. The race headed out of Bright and past Boynton's Winery, the first sprint point, with Team Budget forklift Sam Whitsmith's just squeezing out GPN Wilson's Racing's Scotty Law with Joe Lewis third. 40-odd Ks in, a break of 5 formed, no doubt eyeing off the KOM points looming a further 8 Ks down the road. And so it was on to Ovens for a right-hand turn and into the first climb up over Rose White Gap, a 4.5k Cat 2, as the riders crossed over and into the next valley. With the brake working well together, they opened up about a 30-second lead on the field. Budget forklift's Peter Herzik looked like he'd had his Weet-Bix for the day and was climbing like a man possessed. As they rolled down the other side, the lead group settled back into the peloton and the race turned up the Kiwa Valley. The locals and officials were in good voice at the 83k mark, which saw GPM Wilson's Scotty Law in the points again, and taking the lion's share ahead of Search to Retain's Neil van der Ploeg and Talk BSS James Ricks. With all other grades turning off earlier for a climb up to the finish, the A-grade men then tackled an additional climb to about the halfway point up Falls Creek, before a U-turn returning to the final KOM up to Wonga Gap and the finish line for a total of 131 Ks. At about 90 Ks in, the climb up the starter falls to Bogon Village was the opportunity needed for this group of 9 to make their move, with names like Plan B's Trent Morey, Will Walker and Neil van der Ploeg. This had the potential to go all the way. With much of the field in tatters from the pace set up the Bogon climb, we settled into a fast and technical descent back down into the Kiwa Valley. By the left turn into the final climb and the uphill finish of the stage, the cruel Cat 1 up to Wonga Gap, a small number of riders had managed to get onto the lead group. Various attacks were launched, no doubt all of them doing plenty of damage to some screaming legs, but it wasn't until this move at around 2 Ks to go that anything stuck. Local hero and John West's Matty Clark punched off the front, testing all the rest. And whether he was reeling them in or going off fishing, he crossed the line with a big grin, 18 seconds ahead of Stuart Smith from VIS and Search to Retain's Cal Britton.
I wasn't planning to go quite so early, but it felt good and I thought I'd better just give it a test, see who's got the good legs and try and work things out from there. So initially didn't expect to get that gap, but once I did I thought, nah, just gonna have to finish it off. So yeah.
And tell me,
surprised, really happy.
A good strong group that had a good break up the climb, up the starter falls there.
Yeah.
Talk it through for me, mate. Tell me sort of how it all played apart, who was in the group, you know, who was looking good.
Yeah, look, I heard that Neil van der Ploeg was in the break, and Talk in the bunch said that they weren't going to let a break go unless he got in it. So when I saw him up the road, I thought, well, just going to have to take a chance now, try and get ahead before the descent back into Mount Beauty, and just try and leave myself in as good a position as possible. So tried to push it a fair bit going up to Bogon, and yeah, it just paid off. So
Cal got up third up the climb, which was sort of the game plan for today. Like, Cal's been on really good form. He lives in Bright, I live in Mount Beauty, so we've been doing quite a bit of training together, and I knew his legs were good and he's time trialling really well, so we just wanted to try and look after him and yeah, get him to the bottom of the hill in as fresh as possible state.
And that was the plan, was it, mate?
Yeah.
You're riding for him?
Yep, and get myself in some breaks, force the other teams to do a bit of chasing, because I'm riding pretty good at the moment, so like they can't afford just to like fully let it go. So, and that's basically what happened really. I got in a couple of moves, and I'm assuming someone had to work to get it back. So yeah. No,
you did, mate. You were pushing good and strong, and my money was on you early, but
no.
Obviously played out differently.
And then the descent as well, we knew that could play into our hands. Like, we really, Cal and I are both good descenders, so we just tried to drill it. Like, I just sat on the front and tried to just protect Cal and just maybe split the bunch a bit, which we did. I think, yeah, we split the leading group on the descent and took a few people out of the equation, which is always nice. So yeah, it was pretty good, really.
After a tight finish in Stage 1 for the A-grade women that saw AIS's Grace Salzberger take the win by only 2 seconds over VIS's Joanne Hogan and 9 seconds to Miranda Griffiths of Holden Cycling Team, the entire field of 500-plus riders lined up later the same day for an undulating 5.7k time trial from Bright to Wundillygong and back.
Legs are a little bit tired after the climbing, but hopefully we'll find them out the road on the TT.
Indeed. At least it's flat.
Yes, that's it.
Flick Wardlaw Talk Bicycle Superstore blitzed in a time of 22.27, 45 seconds clear of AIS's Taran Heather and 56 ahead of Joanne Hogan. Taran moving into the GC lead, 4 seconds up on Joe. In the A-grade men, GPN Wilson Racing's Joe Lewis, with an average speed of 45.67 k's an hour and a time of 20.37, looked like he'd done enough to take the win. And with Budget Forklift's Mark O'Brien on a time of 20.39, the pair looked impressive. But that was until young Jack Haig of Talk Bicycle Superstore rolled down the ramp and then thundered home in a time of 20.19. Matt Clark's 6th in the TT was enough for him to hold a 44-second lead in the GC at the end of day 1. With the forecast warning it would be hot and wet, we'd been lucky enough to have had the heat but not the rain, and as the evening settled in, presentations were made at Bright Velo. The mood was upbeat, but the modest crowd dispersed quickly as the threatening storm finally hit. Day 2, and while there was fog, there was no sign of storms as we prepared for the third and final stage.
I'll try and go fast today.
I hope so.
And what a race, from Bright straight up Mount Hotham with a finish right on the peak at the cross. With debris still on the roads from the deluge the night before, conditions were slippery, as Lachlan Edwards St George Skoda discovered. Sorry Lachlan, I'm guessing you didn't know our camera was there. Then again, if you did, St George Skoda, you're a little bonus for the dedication, mate. And if Lachlan's effort wasn't tough enough, what about Aaron Smith's, the race director, who put 2 sprints in the stage, one of which was only 700 metres from the start of the first of 2 Cat 1 KOMs. Now that's gotta burn. This group of 5 got off the front early, with a notable absence being GPM Wilson Racing's Scott Law. Law led the sprint points going into the day, but with plenty of points up for grabs, Search to Retain and Budget Forklifts both close enough to pounce, and the KOM so close it would be a tough position to defend. While Scotty was relegated to 3rd overall behind Budget Sam Witsmitz, GPM Wilson Racing prevailed through Joe Lewis, taking the maximum points in both sprints and wrapping up the green jersey. So, 27 kilometres in, the break went into the KOM, 1 minute 41 ahead of a calm-looking peloton. The first KOM at the Meg, another 10k's in, had a sense of deja vu as Team Budget Forklift's Peter Herzig surged to take the points. But John West Only takes the best, and right on Pete's heels was yesterday's Stage 1 winner and GC leader Matt Clark, followed by time-trialling sensation Jack Haig of Torque BSS. The peloton, meanwhile, had been blown apart. About a third of the field used the false flat to regroup for the final 17k climb to the finish. But this group quickly thinned out again as the bitumen kicked upward. Herzig, Maury, Walker. The cream was rising to the top. Literally. As we pushed out into what felt like the top of the world, the boys were pumping out a good rhythm. This group of three sitting about 10 seconds off the lead group of Herzig, Clark, Haig and Sayat Custom Cycle Wear's Jay Burke. One last acceleration from Budget's Peter Herzig saw him take the final position of the KOM jersey, having placed first in 3 of the 4 climbs on offer. But that was his day done. His Weet-Bix had finally run out, and he slugged away for the final 5Ks of the race, leaving Jack Haig, Jay Burke and Matt Clark to battle it out in the clouds. Perhaps inspired by his TT win the day before, it was the black and orange of Jack Haig that came round the final bend clear of the others, capping off a very successful weekend for Torque BSS. Next through the mist, and 18 seconds behind, was Sayat Custom Cycle Wear's Jay Burke, followed by John West's Matty Clark at 23 seconds. Clark maintaining the GC jersey as a keepsake.
Congratulations, fantastic.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Sterling weekend, really.
Yeah, look, today was a bit of fun. It was always going to be tough with the lead, and having the likes of Budget with such a strong team and Search. They're always going to be up there mixing it up, and I just had to try and shake things up a bit myself to try and keep everyone else on their toes. Probably spent myself a bit too much on the lower parts of the climb, but happy to hold on for third in this stage.
Absolutely, and was that enough to give you a win overall, do you think?
Yeah, I hope so. I don't think I lost too much time to Jack over the top, but he was absolutely flying for that last half of the climb. That was unbelievable. Sort of carried on after his TT yesterday, huge effort. But a real strong bunch of guys, so yeah, it was a good race.
In an amazing finish to the GC standings for the A-grade women, 1/100th of a second placed Miranda Griffiths ahead of Grace Salzberger in second place. Jo Hogan was third, 57 seconds back. And so to the spectacular grounds of Boynton's Winery for the final presentations and celebrations. And with the sun out and the mountains as a backdrop, a fitting end to a fantastic weekend. I hope you enjoyed watching as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you, and please forward this package onto a mate or two. And remember, it's proudly brought to you by Campolina, Thoroughbred Racing and Breeding, and Landserv, providing sustainable environmental solutions.